What's going on, everybody? Jon McQueen back with a long overdue video on the topic of tracking alcohol macros, or basically in a flexible dieting situation, having a couple of drinks or a few drinks and being able to track it within your macronutrients so you can still get the results you're looking for while having some fun, being social, and all that good stuff. I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time now, as it's just a consistent question that I get from my clients, from people I consult with, really of the whole idea of flexible dieting, but being able to enjoy, whatever you want or other types of food. So again, long overdue topic. Definitely want to make a video for you guys. Constant question. And so hopefully this video helps clarify how to fit alcohol into your diet. Obviously, drinking responsibly, using this tool and strategy responsibly, and getting the maximum benefits that you're trying to achieve, all while having some fun. All right, so no more delays. Let's get right into it. So what I got here is basically your standard macronutrients and their caloric content per gram. And then I also have a couple of examples of some typical alcohol beverages that people, you or people might consume. Okay, so we'll start off with the basics here. What we have is for every 1 gram of carbohydrate, it traditionally yields 4 calories. 1 gram of protein yields 4 calories as well. So carbs and protein are the same. 1 gram of fat yields 9 calories, and 1 gram of alcohol yields 7. So alcohol calories are very similar to, or more closely related, or close as far as caloric content, to fats, but not far off from proteins and carbs. With that said, if you are familiar with flexible dieting or just tracking in general, if you scanned a beer, for example, you're going to notice that the nutrition label or the nutrition facts that are provided is essentially blank. It might have some carb content, but that's really all it's going to show you, and that's it. It's not going to show you protein, fats. It's going to show you a little bit of carbs, and really that's it. But do not let that fool you, okay? A perfect example is I had somebody reach out to me and basically send me a picture of a Michelob Ultra, not a Michelob Ultra, a Modelo. And it basically said 4 grams of carbs per beer. And they thought that, oh, if it's only 4 grams of carbs and I have, say, 50 grams left in my day, I can drink a lot of beer because it fits my macros. I could do it. But they neglected to look at the calorie content, which is why this is important here. The beer was 145 calories, and the carb content that the nutrition label was showing, or the app was showing, was only 4 grams. So 4 times 4 calories is 16. So 4 grams times 4 calories, that's 16 calories total. Now 145 does not equal 16. So you could see how the math does not add up there. Obviously, I let them know that that's not really how you do it. Do not drink a bunch of beer because you'll go past your macros, unless you're really not tracking macros for that day. But that was a quick example of how nutrition labels or scanning a product can be misleading because the math will just not add up. And this is, in this case, the alcohol, the beer, just didn't add up. Okay, so 4 times 4 does not equal 145. So with that said, I wanted to utilize that. That's a perfect example of somebody thinking something and thinking it's going to fit within their nutrition plan or flexible dieting plan, but not really. Okay, so here are some strategies, or here's a couple of examples on 2 different types of alcohol, what their caloric content is, and how you can substitute that particular alcohol beverage into your macros utilizing some strategies. Okay, so we'll go with the first one here. This is my favorite beer. It's a Sculpin. Really doesn't matter what the flavor is, but traditional Sculpin, it's bomb IPA. That Sculpin beer, which is a 12-ounce beer, is 210 calories. Okay, so utilizing the caloric content, regardless of what the carb content says it is. Say if it's like 20 grams of carbs, if you scan it, do not pay attention to that. Look at the calories that it's giving you for that, the total serving, in this case 12 ounces or a bottle or a can. That's the total calories. So let's take 210, let's divide it by 4 for carbohydrates, and you're left with 53 grams of carbs. So this is one strategy to utilize. Take the total calories of that beer, divide it by 4 calories per 1 gram, and you're left with 53 grams that you could substitute that beer for carbs. On the flip side, we also have fats. So if we took your total calories, we divided by 9 calories per 1 gram of fat, you're left with 23 grams of fat. So if you had this beer, and this is a high calorie beer, so again, if you're dieting and you like sculpin, it might be a good idea to do something a little bit lighter. Maybe like a blonde or just something lighter in calories. That's gonna drop your overall macros. So in this case, say you had 200 grams of carbs a day. You wanted to have a beer, and say you wanted to substitute it for carbs. It's going to take up 1/4 of your carbs for the day. So when you're dieting, chances are you're going to hold on to your carbs. They're so precious to you. Everybody loves carbs, especially when you're dieting. They're the last, you want more. Unfortunately, you're dieting, so you can't really have that many. So is it really worth having one beer and it taking up 1/4 of your carbs? Probably not, which is why I would suggest going for a lower calorie beer. That way it drops the carb substitution or the carb grams. Also with the fats. So if this one beer is equivalent to 23 grams of fat, say you're allowed 50 grams of fat a day, and this is taking up 23. It's essentially taking up half of your day's worth of fat. Again, going back to the example, is this the best choice of beer for someone who's dieting and has limited macros? Absolutely not. I would definitely choose, I'd probably say don't drink. But if they want to be, go out and have a social time, then go for a lighter beer. Obviously a lighter beer probably means less alcohol volume, which means still decent taste, but might not get you buzzed or head change or whatever the case may be. Another trick that you can utilize for this, and we'll stick to this example, is we can substitute a little bit of each to equal this one beer. So what I mean by that is, obviously this one beer is 210 calories. Let's take away this. Let's use half of these. So I'm just going to do some quick math. We'll just say it's 26. Let's just take 26 grams of carbs here. So half of 53, 26. So it consumes 26 grams of your carbs. And then half of 23, we'll just say round up to 24, 12. So you can go 26 and 12 grams of fat as a substitution rather than all carbs or all fat. Hopefully that makes sense. But that's another strategy or trick to use, is don't just substitute it for one or the other, maybe combine the two. And that might help you a little bit, especially if you're dieting in a caloric deficit. That might help you a little bit more when you're trying to hold on to certain macros. Moving on down to something a little bit harder. In this case, I chose Ciroc Peach. And 1 ounce. So 1 ounce is a serving size. So if you do scan this product, it's going to give you the 1 ounce serving size. And that's a typical, or 30 milliliters or 1 ounce is your typical serving size for hard alcohol. So this Ciroc Peach is yielding 65 calories. Okay. So 65, obviously divided by 4 for carbs, that's going to take up 16 grams of your carbs. For fats, take the 65 divided by 9. That's going to leave you with 7. And I'm rounding a little bit, but typically 16 or 7 grams of fat for that 1 ounce. So that sounds, you're looking at the math here, this sounds better than this beer. This beer is 12 ounces. Obviously, you're getting more fluid ounces from the beer than you are with the 1 ounce of Ciroc, and you're getting less macros. Also with the Ciroc or the vodka, you're getting more alcohol volume. So it really comes down to the situation. Are you trying to get some more bang for your buck? Usually when someone drinks, they're trying to get head change, a little tipsy, maybe a little buzzed or drunk, what have you, have a little fun. You're going to get more bang for your buck, obviously, with the vodka choice, because one, it's lower in calories, which equals lower macros, and you get more bang for your buck because it's higher in alcohol volume content. But when you're dieting and you're in a caloric deficit, you don't want to sabotage your diet. So obviously having too much alcohol can obviously, hey, I want another shot, I want another drink, and they just, now you're going way past your macros. So at that point, you might want to stay away from just drinking altogether. So this is kind of the caveat here. 1 ounce, this all sounds great and better than a beer, or this particular beer, because it's saving you on some macros. But just keep in mind that 1 shot is typically 1.5 ounces, not 1 ounce. So even though they're giving you, when you scan the product or you search for it, it's giving you a 1 ounce serving, a shot, whether you're taking it from the glass or a cocktail, they're typically giving you 1.5 ounces of that alcohol. So I took that example just so you're aware of that you're more times than not, you're going to get 1.5 ounces per serving than you are 1 ounce. Okay. So 1.5, that's 98 calories. As you can see, the calorie content does go up, which means macros will go up, plain and simple. So here's your substitutions: 24 grams of carbs for that 1 shot, or 11 grams of fat for that 1 shot or cocktail. Again, using the same strategy as we talked up here, if you don't want to take all of your carbs or all your fats away for that 1 drink, combine the 2. So for this example, we just go 8 and 4. I'll round up to 4 instead of 3.5. So you can go 8 grams of carbs and 4 grams of fat. That seems a little bit more reasonable. And then down here for that 1 cocktail or 1 shot, you have 12 grams of carbs, or I'll just round down a little bit, or 5 grams of fat, or you can round up to 6 grams of fat, what have you. And that sounds a little bit more reasonable. So doing a little bit of playing around with your macros from carbs or fat or fats is going to give you a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to enjoying a little bit more alcohol or drinks. Another tip and strategy: if you are doing a cocktail that is 1.5 ounces of that vodka or whatever alcohol you're using, stick with the sugar-free stuff, the carb-free, the sugar-free mixers. That's definitely going to save you the calories. It's going to save you the carbs. So go with the sugar-free stuff. That will just keep the calories down, which puts you in a better macro position, and you're in good shape there. Obviously, if you're going out and you're drinking, do your best to track. I mean, that's really all for me and my clients, is really all I can ask for. Things can get carried away, and you're drinking more than you should. At that point, can't help you there, but it is what it is. But again, these are just some tools to use for fitting alcohol into your macros or into your diet, making it work for you, and being able to stay on track towards your goals, whatever the goals are, but also having fun doing it, not completely saying, hey, you guys are going out, I can't go out because I can't drink. That's not fun. No, you could go out and say, hey, I can somehow make this work. I can have a drink or 2 or what have you, and make it work for you. Have some fun, be social, live life. That's what it's all about, having fun, living life, but it doesn't mean you can't get results, right? So one last strategy I want to talk about here, and that is how you can do this fairly quickly as far as tracking goes. So what I do is I will create a food item in MyFitnessPal. I'll just create a food item and I'll just call it, I'll call it Sculpin, and in parentheses, I'll put carbs. And then I'll just fill out the nutrition facts. I'll put 210 calories equals, for 210 calories for 12 ounces equals 53 grams of carbs. Then I'll make another food item that says Sculpin, in parentheses, fat, with the same calorie content, and I'll just put in 23 grams of fat in the nutrition facts, and that's that. That way you have 2 custom food items substituting for carbs and fat, and then now you can combine them a little bit easier. You can go, okay, I had 6 ounces of carbs and I had 6 ounces of fat, and now it calculated your macros automatically for you. That's if you are tracking your macros in that particular app. So that's another strategy that I use, is just adding that alcohol item custom to the app, and then just adding the calories, adding the macros respectively. And then now when I want to have that drink, I could just plug it in. I could change my serving sizes. I can manipulate it to make it work within my numbers for the day. That was just another tip. But hopefully you found this video informative as far as the fun topic of tracking alcohol into your macros. Rewind it over and over again to catch what I'm saying if you did get confused. A lot of math here, but hopefully it was informative. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos to come. If you have particular topics that you want me to discuss or just talk about, leave them in the comment box below. I'll be sure to get to them. Other than that, peace out.